Hello, thanks for joining me at LALIK'S kitchen today. I think you guessed it already. We are going to make everybody's favorite Sharots. Sharots is Armenian candy-like snack. The main ingredients in this candy-like snack is walnuts. And the rest I will show you how it's made. If you're new to this channel, I would like to welcome you. I would like to welcome all the new subscribers. Our numbers are growing every month. This last 28 days, we had 18 subscribers, which is a great number. And the last 7 days, we had 6 subscribers. That's a great number, and I would like to welcome and encourage all of you to subscribe for more delicious recipes. For this recipe, we need a lot of walnuts. It's preferable you buy the walnuts with shells, and you choose the walnuts that has very thin shells. Choose the ones that is easy to crack so it won't damage the inside. When you crack it, you try to get the whole walnuts instead of the bits and pieces. Choose the walnuts that are the complete half of the walnut. So you need only halves to put together. You need a needle and a very sturdy, very thick thread. So you need a needle and a very thick thread. To sterilize your needle, you can boil it in a hot water, or you can clean it with very high concentrated alcohol. I suggest you make your Sharots not more than 12 inches. For that, I choose 25 individual half pieces. So 25 half pieces will make approximately 12-inch Sharots. Just count 25 pieces and thread it and put it on a hook and hang it in a place where you're going to have it dry for about a week or a little longer a week. It depends how long you want to dry it, but the drier the better, because if you don't dry it, it's going to grow mold inside it. So in order to prevent having mold inside the Sharots, you have to make sure that your walnuts are completely dry. This is what it will look like once you have your Sharots on the thread. I chose 25 pieces for each thread. I'm using drapery hooks to hang it. I got mine on Amazon, and this is what it looks like. I'm using laundry hanger to dry the Sharots, and I'm going to put this away from the traffic, and it will stay there as long as it takes to dry. Mine was drying last 2 weeks because I did not have time to work on this. I just let it dry for a long time. I made 36 pieces of Sharots. I'm not going to make all of them at the same day. I'm going to make it in 3 different days. First portion we made it and it's almost gone. And the second portion I'm making 12 at a time. And the second time I made it, it was for Thanksgiving, and I gave away some for a gift. And I'm going to make the third and last 12 for Christmas. You need a big enough pot to dip your 12-inch Sharots. In addition to walnuts, we also need some spices. We need cloves and cinnamon. Cloves and cinnamon. We also need sugar, flour, grape molasses, and honey. We are going to use equal parts of sugar and flour. I'm using this jar for my measuring. You can Either use a jar or you can use 2.5 cups of sugar and 2.5 cups of flour. I have added flour. Now I'm adding sugar. My spices, clove and cinnamon. And I'm going to stir everything together. I'm using the same jar as my measuring unit, so I added 1 jar of flour and 1 jar of sugar. Now I'm adding 2 jars of water, which is equal to 5 cups. I'm adding the water gradually to avoid all the lumps. I'm trying to get at this point, I'm trying to get a consistency that is look like a cake batter. Now I got the consistency that I want, like a cake batter. I'm adding the remaining water. As you remember, I told you that I was going to add 2 jars of water, which is equal to 5 cups. And once I get the consistency that I want, I add the whole thing. At this point, I'm also adding the molasses and the honey. 2 tablespoons of honey and 1/4 cup of molasses. I give it a good stir and I'm going to transfer it onto the stove. On the stove, I'm consistently stirring it on a high heat in the beginning, and then I will lower the temperature to not medium but lower than medium, and keep on stirring it. Now I'm starting to see some lumps, but if you see some lumps like this, don't let it scare you. That's the process. It's going to start getting lumps, and then once you stir it for a long time, it will dissolve. As you can see, the lumps are dissolving already, but I still have some time to go because it's not completely dissolved yet. It will take a few more minutes. I don't want to cut this part, I just want to show it to you, and I don't want to speed it up. I want to show you so you can see the transition. As you can see, the lumps have disappeared already, and it's getting more silky and shiny. But it's getting too thick. I want to get rid of the lumps first. Once everything is dissolved, I will check with the spoon to see if it's runny. I want it to be a little bit runny. This is kind of too thick. On a side, I have the 3rd jar of water. I have put it on a side and I'm boiling it. And I will have a boiling hot water, and I'm going to add boiling hot water to get the runniness that I want. I will show it to you. See, this is not runny. It got silky and the lumps are completely gone. Like I mentioned before, I had my 3rd jar of water boiling on the side, so I'm adding water to make this runny. So we got rid of the lumps, but it's too thick to dip the walnuts in this. Therefore, I'm adding some hot water to get a runny consistency. And I put this on a simmer, so it's simmering at this point. It's on a very, very low heat. And as we dip, it's going to get thicker, and as it gets thicker, you add more water. So don't worry and don't be scared to add more hot water to get the runny consistency that you need for dipping. In the process of mixing and stirring it, I added more hot water to get this consistency. Now that it's ready for dipping, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil for extra luster and shine. Now it's ready for dipping. Some they dip it twice, but I dip it only once. I don't like it to be too thick. I only dip it once, but if you want to dip it twice, it's up to you. With this recipe, I make 12 sharots. It's good enough for 12-inch sharots. If you add a little bit of water at the end, you can also dip 13 sharots. I have also done 13 with this recipe. That's about it. You have to dip it. Hold it on top of the stove for a few minutes until it runs. And once it stops running, carefully put a plate underneath, hold a plate underneath, and hang it. You have to have the hanger right next to you so you can hang it. See, I'm making sure that it doesn't drop anymore. I'll wait until the last big lump drops. Then I will transfer it. I think now it's ready to go on the hanger. And keep on doing this until you finish all 12 of your sharots. And if you have a little bit left over at the end, keep on adding water and get the consistency you want, the runny consistency that you want. Don't be afraid to add water. Just add enough to make it easy for it to be dipped. I end up making 13 sharots. I will let this dry for 3 or 4 days and we will meet after it's ready. It's been 3 days already and my sharots are dry and it's ready. I cracked some of those as I was transferring it to the cutting board. I have cut one end and I removed the threads and wrapped it in a cellophane, and it's ready to be gifted or simply to be enjoyed with family and friends. I have lined the gift box with a wax paper and folded it. Now I'm going to gift 6 of this. I'm going to wrap it nicely and give a gift to my sister. I usually buy these stickers from arts and crafts store. I got mine in Michael's. And I'm going to dress it up as I wrap it. I have this straw ribbon and I think it's appropriate for a Thanksgiving gift. So we'll wrap it with I'll make a bow with this straw ribbon. With this, we will end our episode for Sharots. I hope you enjoyed watching the whole process. I hope you'll take this recipe to your kitchen and you'll make it. I'm going to use a sticker that says happiness is homemade. Yes, I believe happiness is homemade. I hope you will make happiness. This is a labor of love and you will give it to someone who you really love and appreciate. Have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and wonderful life. Bye-bye.